Today on Archon's Corner, we talk about the new mid-tier reveal from Ghost Galaxies on their GameFound page, along with a few spoilers along the way. If you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/Archons Corner. You can also get your Archons Corner merch over at spreadshirt.com, link found in the description below. Oh yeah, one more time. All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE. Joined here by my quite talkative friends. We got Drazcor.
Hey, it's going.
We got Ewok.
Hello, Keyforge community.
We got Sheep.
Yep.
Always enthusiastic and charismatic, that Sheep. And we got Z.
Hey, I'm excited today. It's a good week.
I actually got a question. I think it's funny, and this isn't on our sheet, but I got a question as to how do I go through the order of each of your names and what's the meaning? Because a lot of the times when I do music, there's a meaning behind it. And people don't know that I just, well, however you're in the chat is exactly how I say your names.
And I was actually first, but I went to mute myself for the, beginning of the show. But I clicked disconnect, and now I'm last.
You're not supposed to mute yourself for the beginning of the show because I need your background noise so I can get rid of it through the rest of the show.
And Wookie,
I like to throw you curveballs.
That's okay.
Wookie, we also have to give you a big shout out. If our listeners have not paid attention, you put together a nice little YouTube video earlier this week. So multiple pieces of content coming out.
We have pumped out a lot of content, and I'm hoping to pump out more as news flows in and as I, start getting things actually done. And, I've had some time off, we'll call it time off, where I could actually get some things done. So, we had an AC Extra this week where me and Drazcor kind of talked about can Keyforge survive 2022? Well, not can it survive, but can it compete in 2022? And then we did kind of the real quick, like down and dirty on YouTube for what the mid-tier backer level was going to all include and kind of the hype around that. So if you're listening, make sure you go like those videos and all that fun stuff. So the biggest thing I think we need to do is the YouTube algorithm needs to pick up on it. And it's not really for us because I could care less. Most of our videos get demonetized anyways. So it's not like the biggest thing in the world, but if the YouTube algorithm picks up on it, it will then share it to other people who like gaming. That way, it will then send it to them, and maybe they'll be like, what is this game? I've never heard of it before. So that is the biggest thing. Comment, subscribe, hit that little stupid little bell thing that I hate. Because it used to just be comment and subscribe, then it was comment, like, and subscribe, and now it's comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
We're looking for those Keyforge players. We'll get them any way we can.
Well, leave a tip. That's more about YouTube than anything else.
No, correct. But it's still a very viable source for content.
Sure.
And there's some people who are doing great Keyforge material out there already.
Mine was very down and dirty. I did not have anything set up. I did not have my cameras were not set up. My lights weren't set up. I had nothing set up. So I just kind of did it real fast, real quick. I did have some issues along the way that are neither here nor there. I think I fixed them now. Hopefully we'll find out. I don't know. I won't know until the next upload, and you know what? It got it out there. I think it did its job. So, I will also say we got some positive feedback. So thanks to everyone sending feedback in regarding our intro, which you had changed. So you've been putting a lot of work in. Looking good. A lot of work. So, so big thank you to everyone who has continued to support us. If you do, you can go over to our Patreon. We are doing well. At least we did one. I guess that's a thing. So maybe we'll do more. Just kind of as we can do them, as we want to talk about this kind of fun stuff, and go through there. So we'll be doing more Patreon. It is going to happen. Even if I got to do it by myself, I'll do it by myself. We'll get you guys some content. So a big thing we do have to go through today. I know this wasn't on the sheet, but we do have to, I guess we have to issue an apology to Arthur. So I did get a message this morning from Arthur. He thought we were criticizing him on the show, and no criticism was meant to go to him. Like, not even a little bit. Like none of that was directed at Arthur. He had told me, he had sent me a message that much of the prize support was purchased by himself to support the event. So I don't know what all went into that. So maybe this was more not a thing. Like, I don't know. Again, he didn't message me back after that, but no shade was thrown Arthur's way. We were throwing more shade at GG's way, but if you unfortunately took it as we were throwing shade at you, we apologize. I don't think any of us, maybe Drazcor was, but I don't think any of the other four of us were throwing shade at Arthur's way. It was just Drazcor.
I'm giving you guys a hard time. I was like, what? Who's complaining about this?
Drazcor knows how to throw shade.
Maybe not. It might have been sheep. It might have been sheep, but we're gonna blame it on Drazcor.
I will still say Arthur had some amazing mats that he threw out, and mats get kind of a bad name, but they really showed up. Some people were sporting them off, and that was all his idea and kind of putting out his own money for it. So I thought they were really cool. I don't know. I appreciate that there's events, and I've worked with Board Crunch. I've been on the Facebook group, so he does some good work.
Yeah, no, and again, no shade. I didn't mean to, if that's how it came off. Like, I think Arthur does great work for the Keyforge community. So, I mean, if that's how he took it, we apologize. It wasn't meant that way.
Yeah, he definitely throws great events. I still have my Shadows, Mars, and Logos mats that he produced for Gen Con 1 for Keyforge.
Nice.
They're great. They're on my wall.
Uno, Alpha, as they call it. The kids, that's what they call it.
Keyforge Gen Con 1. I don't know.
Alpha Gen Con for Keyforge. I'm kidding. But anyways, we got tons of news. If you listen to the Patreon episode and if you watch the video, we're going to go through all the fun items. I think Z is the most excited about this.
Dude, I'm super pumped. I mean,
like, Z just wants to know how much money he's allowed to pump into this.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
All right.
I need to go to college that bad.
Little Z, you're just going to have to miss out. Keyforge means more.
Like, kid, I hear you can make more money on YouTube anyway. Go for it.
But we did get the sneak peek at what they're calling the mid-tier level for... I am totally drawing a blank on what it's called. It's not...
Reaper of Amber.
No. What's the website? Game Found. I keep wanting to call... Like, I so desperately want to call it Kickstarter, but I know that's wrong. Like, and I keep every time I'm like Kickstarter. No,
I'm pretty sure I saw an interview of Peterson and he said Kickstarter by accident in it.
Maybe that's where I got it.
It happens. It's going to keep happening.
It's a large way to be able to get games. Many people are familiar with Kickstarter, but no, it's definitely Game Found.
Yep.
But what are we getting in this? So let's start. I think we'll just work top to bottom. As to what you're all going to get. You will get 12 Winds of Exchange decks. That is one display box.
Well,
booster box?
Wookie, did you say this is the middle tier? So they kind of spoiled that.
This is the middle tier.
Yeah, so we're going to have 5 tiers is what it sounds like, and this is
so far
in
that we know
third. Yep, so
in tier 5, you get to choose the SAS of your deck. That's also a statistic I made up.
Also made up, Wookie. But middle tier, you get a full 12 Winds of Exchange deck.
12 of them.
Yes, please.
But I think, so I don't think anybody has said this anywhere, because we've talked about before, like, this might be limited to more just US based and not so much overseas. They did say that this is going to be available to worldwide.
Yeah,
so if you're afraid that you're not going to be able to get Keyforge decks at your local, this is a great way for you to get Keyforge decks.
There you go, Keyforge Italy. Start making Game of Found accounts now. Make like 30 of them for each one of you to play the game.
I saw no people talking about that, and I'm just like, this is actually a fantastic way. Like, if you are overseas, and most people who are in Europe and all those, like, I think the United States is one of the few places where we don't speak multiple languages, like a majority of us. This is a great way to get some cards, because it will be available internationally.
The Game Found people are going to be like, why do we have twice as many Italian registrations this month?
This is going to cost us an arm and a leg in shipping.
There's a huge community for our French, huge community for our Italians, APAC community. Like, worldwide, that's one of the appeals for Keyforge, and it has been phenomenal in this pandemic to be able to use TCO to play people around the world. I just am excited to be able to see worlds and having people come in. So I love this opportunity for Keyforge to be able to be picked up in any area of the world as a result of GameCon.
So 12 Winds of Exchange decks can be yours. But wait, there's more. 2 Winds of Exchange playmats, and I'm eyeballing a few of these, actually. Just eyeballing. I wouldn't actually buy them, but I'd eyeball them. Anybody got any?
Star Alliance one is actually really cool. I don't know what creature it is, but it's like a little robot-looking dude, very similar to the
My wife says it's
helper
a bunny.
bot.
It's a bunny.
Yeah.
That's what she
Bunny?
said.
No.
Bunny bot?
It's a bunny bot.
I guess it's got. I think there's like plugs or something on its head. Maybe I don't know.
It's very helper bot-esque, and it's like sci-fi tech cuteness level.
Yes.
Yeah.
But let's
People are
look at
gonna
the
like
one
that.
above that one.
Well,
Oh, I like that one.
But this before you even get away from it, again, is a great plushie that you could go ahead and see. We've seen
Yeah.
the Bruins just go crazy.
Actually, the Dusk Runner was pretty cool as a mini. Like, this would be a neat mini. Like, he
Let's
could
be
in that
honest. The
position.
next plushie that's coming out is the Blorp. Like,
Oh yeah, it's
it
gotta
just,
be.
it
There.
just is.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't
now-
think that's unfair.
Throw some money there. Yep.
Okay. Now you're talking about what was above.
Yeah, look at the one above
Ooh.
the Star Alliance
Yeah.
one. I mean, that's got to. I'm guessing by factor of elimination. You know, that's Brobnar.
Yes.
But that
That's
guy
my
is
guess.
blowing fire
It's
out
like-
his tusks.
Yeah, I don't. Or is it gills? Maybe I don't know.
No, it
like,
can't be gills because the one above that is unfathomable. The
I
fish.
know. I'm trying to think what's on your neck that shoots sideways.
Tusks. He's got tusks, man.
Beard. It's all
Fire-
beard, man.
fire
He's got
tusks.
such a fiery beard.
Firebeard.
Popping pimples.
Did you say? Oh, I thought you said nipples. I was like, shooting fire out his nipples. What is this?
There you go.
Keyforge After Dark.
Fire
Jesus.
nipple?
Fire
No,
nipples. Just
I think that it looks great. I'm super excited to see Brobnar, what it can do.
it's gonna do the same thing it always did.
No,
they're
I'm saying
Brobnar
making
cards.
it playable,
Oh,
making it a solid house versus kind of capping it where it has been.
So
all
we're
right.
just going to reprint AOA.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's been long enough since
Grump
Worlds
Buggy
Collide
getting a
that they
reprint.
could have incorporated feedback. Like, what if it comes back as like a really strong house? Like that would be cool.
Comes back
Right.
as shadows.
Yep.
Just
No.
steals all the ember through brute
not
force.
I think they just need more crush effects where the original design was going with set 1. Like, if there was more stuff that triggered your opponent straight loses amber, it would have been a hell of a better house from
Probably.
go. It just needs more of that.
But wait, there's more. You will get 1 Winds of Exchange. This is also something everyone's asking this. It's right in the title. I don't know why nobody's read it. 1 Winds of Exchange personalized deck. A tournament legal Keyforge Winds of Exchange deck incorporating a name of your choice. So
Standing up, round of applause, Ghost
Yes.
Galaxy.
I would just
He
like
listens,
to say
he
my
listens. You
full
gotta-
name is Twerkalicious Wookie and X-Ray Sucks. Get that
There is
all
a
out.
chance I would have paid what I don't think we really talked about the price that much, but what they're asking for just this deck.
Oh, we did because we'll get to the price because they 100% listened. But let's get to the next thing but wait, there's even more. You're gonna get a personalized playmat matching the name and deck characteristics of your personalized deck. We'll get more
what do you
into
mean
that
by
later.
deck characteristics? What do you mean? I gotta know now.
It's your Archon. We'll get into that and more. But did you see how much this is going to cost you, everybody?
Image.
$500.
No. Less.
$243.84.
Less.
What? Less than that is the cost of the display.
That's right. You're going to get this for the low... Why is this just turned into an infomercial? You're going to get this for the low price of exactly what Z said he would have paid for it. Thanks, Z. You could have chose a lower number. That would have been awesome. Exactly what Z said he would have paid for it in the last episode, $150.
Guys, we also kind of need them to make money.
Yeah.
We do. We totally do.
Well,
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you could throw a bone in once every every now and again.
But
I was
this
just
is
like, we just said $150, and then they come out with it like a few days later, and it's $150. It's like, did you wait for the show to come out and then release the price? How did you
like
know?
Attributing
Pretty
too
sure
much to
we
ourselves.
named the rewards too. Outside of we never asked for mats.
we didn't ask for mats, and you're getting 3 mats in addition to a box, so 12, and your custom deck.
Yeah.
You're really getting 13 decks and 3 mats for $150.
And if you're one of the first 10,000, you get another deck.
Correct.
That is true. You get
you get that for not paying anything. You get that for just
you got to be
you
got to be a backer. It said after your first backing, you'll get your bonus.
Yeah, but that could be like tier 1,
Yeah.
which is I'm sure going to be the cost of a deck or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Z, you put it in here. I didn't do the math when I talked about it because I said it's almost 50% off. It's 40% off.
Yeah, it's 40% off. You're paying basically 60% of the MSRP, but like ignoring everything else. These decks, which we have not talked about yet, the retail value of the deck is going to be going up, which we'll talk about as its own thing. But the display itself is going to cost a little bit more than $150 in the future. So you're literally saving money if all you care about, which you're a crazy person if you don't care about having a personalized deck. But if you just cared about getting 13 decks, because that's what you're getting, you are already saving money just to buy product that we're going to do anyway.
Yes.
So it's actually like a savings, unlike most of these crowdfunding things, where like I have kickstarted things, I have crowd-backed things, not on another platform that I guess it was always just Kickstarter. And I'm always paying a premium. And most of the time, my gaming experience isn't changing. I'm not getting like that much more. I might be getting like a little bitty exclusive expansion, but in most cases, I'm like, okay, you have a wooden token versus a plastic thing. You have a pop-out versus just a card that's flat. In this case, all of this stuff is playable products.
I like
even
to use
the map.
dice. Is that allowed?
No.
I'm just kidding.
We don't know.
That's
There's a
true.
new owner.
We don't know. There's a new owner.
That was actually purely an FFG OP standing. We do not know if that is.
That is true. But that's neither here nor there. So, I mean, what did you say MSRP for a box was going to go for?
It is going to be, by our estimates, just by doing math,
right,
is going to be $155.88. That's $12.99 times 12.
See, that's how I did it. And
so
Cloggin told me I was wrong. He's like, because do it by 10. I didn't understand where he got his math from. It's Cloggin math, so.
Stores will have the chance to choose something, so there is a chance it'll be like $155.99 or $154.99, but it is going to be in that $150 to $156 range.
And
now,
I think the piece that is important for us to be able to consider and talk about is that number is based on deck going from $10, which it is presently, to the $12.99.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we're looking at it, and I know there was
$10 or $9.99.
Okay, $9.99. So $10 to 13 is $9.99 to $12.99. Now the $9.99 or $10 price point was really, really nice, but with the pandemic, with how everything in our supply chain has increased, I think that this is extremely generous, and I actually see it as a really nice deal for us that it's not raising even more.
I am very happy it is not raising even more, because I have to go down to the grocery store to pay $8 for a 12-pack where it used to be 3 something less than 4 years ago.
That's because you
and
live
a lot
in
of
Texas.
this is well, whatever.
My 12 packs are only like $5.
It was still way, way cheaper before.
It was. It was.
So yes, I'll pay the 30% more and not the 100% more happily, and be thankful that it is not $20 per deck, because it very well could have been, because everything I buy these days is significantly more than I was paying for it.
Well, now I think you gotta put a little math into this, or a little thinking into this, right? So, I mean, what's a booster pack going for nowadays?
Booster pack of
anything?
I don't know. I don't play anything else.
Dan, what's
$3.99 to $4.99 depending on the store and how they're.
What was it? What was the first one?
It's between $4 and $5 now.
Between
depending
$4
on
and
the
$5.
pack.
So I don't know what booster packs were actually going for earlier. Excuse me.
You know, I remember when they
Booster
were.
packs should be going for 0 because you need to save your money for this game founder account.
Oh, my But I think the point was is that like you do have to a point have to kind of keep it realistic, because if it would have went up to $20, like if all of a sudden like if this was $300, I don't know many people who are as excited.
That gets pretty tough. Like it just is. Like you're talking about like their board games that cost $20. Like it's their cheap, easy, fun games, but they're whole board games that cost
Right.
that. But before we move on past the custom deck and custom mat,
Well, just real quick on the price. I think the other thing to take into account is printed in the USA, right? Which will be a little higher cost, but in theory should allow them
more control.
to be more control. They can, in theory, print in smaller batches.
You won't have a whole
if they want
container
to.
of Dark Tidings at the bottom of the ocean.
It doesn't have to go across the sea.
I mean,
it doesn't have to get stuck in the Panama Canal.
We're
right?
still
All that.
theorizing about that, but
Mhm.
I'm thinking
Well,
there's
and
some
there's-
GT decks at the
so
bottom of
as-
the sea.
Well, there's a whole bunch of MM that just never made it to Italy. Like,
Yeah,
that happened. Like,
yeah.
that's why they ran out so fast. They were literally buying it from like Canada, us, anywhere they could get it, and
Yeah.
shipping it over them from here. All right, so we've talked about the price a little bit. I want to go back to the names. Okay, Wookiee.
Yeah.
How many different deck names are you getting, and what names are you getting?
Well, I actually just included all of mine in one. That's why I'm Torkalicious Wookiee and X-Ray Sucks.
That's more than 20 characters.
Just mush that together.
Is that?
Well,
Is that
I
more
can
than 20 characters? I didn't count. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie
Yes.
to you. Torkalicious might
see-
be more than 20 characters.
Because I want to talk about the characters. I'm pretty sure I saw 20 characters somewhere. If
Yeah,
you
I
want
saw
to
that.
check
Yeah.
All right. Because I want to talk about that too. But first, everyone's going to want to know what decks names we want. So for Wookiee, for real, what names do you want in your decks? What do you get? Assuming you're wanting more than one.
Yeah, X-Ray Sucks. Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely want that.
And I assume the Wookiee will be one.
No, just X-Ray Sucks. That's all I need. Just the one.
No, it was the Wookiee. All right, Wookiee. All right, Wookiee. Fine.
all I
Draz,
need.
how about you?
I mean, definitely Drazgor. There was an interesting
Are you also
conversation.
gonna have an X-ray sucks deck?
We're all
maybe-
gonna have
I'm gonna
X-Ray
think
Sucks
about
decks
it.
because
It
I'm
would be
going
hilarious.
to back this thing like 400 times and just hand them out.
Well, I still am hypothesizing that there's going to be another tier up, that you're going to see a full box that's
But it
going to have
would it
it.
all be the same name, or like do you think you'd get 12 names?
Well, they went
different
ahead
names.
they went ahead and showed how you're going to be able to input,
Yeah.
like before, after, kind of in the middle of the word. So I'm assuming each deck will be slightly different, but it would be using the same word or the same like characters, whatever you're using for the 20 characters, because that's what they did with the Gamma decks. So
Yeah. So
that
what
is
I'm
already been
saying is
seen.
you would still want to have to back it more than once if you wanted more words. Like
Sure, or we
Wait, I can
all
bet.
go in.
Is that tier 2? Tier 2 is I can get more characters?
no.
No? Oh, okay.
All right. Assuming you can back it more than once or whatever, how many names do you want, or different names?
For me, I had seen a couple different people reach out and say, "Hey, I'm looking for my personal name. I want to see Ewok Jr." I don't know if it will actually be allowed because they do have the right to deny it based on copyright and some other infringement. So, Wookiee, I know there was some concern for both your name and my name.
There is no
Discord.
concern for either of our names, to be honest with you, because of I guess they could just be like, nah. But
Correct.
literally both Ewok and Wookiee are now common space because how big Star Wars is. So you can just use it. But
Outside of that, I really like the idea for including our like family members. Now, what's interesting is that it gets a little bit weird because after you start thinking about it, you're like, do I want my name to consistently show up in the algorithm? And I
Your
like
actual
that this
name. Yeah.
correct. And I like that because originally I'm like, oh yeah, I'm putting my regular name out there. And then I'm like, ooh, do I really want my regular name being part of
Do you mean like when you say regular name, you're talking about like your legal first and last name? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Government name.
Yeah,
Okay.
my government.
Because like it wouldn't matter. Obviously, it's your first name. Only,
I mean,
or if,
I
even if
wouldn't
it's your last
care.
name only.
Well, I don't think your suggestion is actually going to go into the naming algorithm.
That's what, because that was my follow up. It's like I doubt any of these are going to go into the algorithm. Like, I would be shocked if we did.
I mean, they could. It's not that it's impossible, but none of the game store names stuck to the algorithm.
That's why I was. Yeah.
No, and I see the past present. It's very possible with the upper tiers for 3 and 4. For 4 and 5 that you end up seeing. But I agree. The Gamma decks did not stick around, so it's easy enough to be a one-time off. But
I still don't see what's the downside of like some people's names show up in the algorithm just because they happen to show up in the algorithm. Like, what the heck does it matter? It's not like names don't really control anything in our.
No.
Have you ever spoken to a real life wizard who control you if they know their true name?
I mean, I had thought about putting in both of my daughters. I think my oldest, Evie, would love to see her name, and it's not presently in the system. So that's something that I could see.
That would be really cool.
I don't know. There is still a little apprehensiveness about putting in personal names. And I guess maybe first names are fine, but first and last is...
all of our names are like common enough where it's just like,
you need to be generic like me.
Yeah. Just be Dan.
Dan Smith.
But in that way,
anybody.
In that way, Dan, you are listing both your first and last name. But my last name does stick out enough, and I think
just list your first name then. I mean, you have a common enough first name.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a really common first name.
Use his first name.
I also wonder if it would be a cool idea to like, if there was an option to get a few different ones, like get names for certain folks who are your friends who like you want to like talk them into playing again. Yeah, like, you know, hey,
I mean, let's be honest.
Brother's handle is Ice Shadow. Like, get an Ice Shadow deck, right? Like,
well, I'm thinking like you can back this for as many Gmail accounts as you have because that's how you log in.
And as many as $150 as you have.
Right. Like, I mean, if you have multiple Gmail accounts, what's stopping you?
Well, some of us did just buy a house, so we can have more $150.
I mean, yeah.
Time to take out that keyforge loan.
There you go.
I guess
I'm going to have to add $30,000 to the house fund for keyforge.
I guess that would be something that I would put out for Ghost Galaxy. I guarantee that they've thought about it already, but being able to back multiple times, if there are people who are interested, it shouldn't be, hey, I need to have a separate email account. I just don't see the purpose for needing a separate email account. I'd want to see if there's multiple people.
Are they limiting?
There isn't enough information to know what's going on.
There just isn't enough.
Well, I thought I saw like they were only allowing X amount of backers at this level, but then you said 10,000, and I'm like, well, it's for the deck. But
I didn't see that anywhere.
I didn't see that.
The 10,000 were for the first 10,000 followers.
For the decks, right?
Get the free dark, the free whatever deck. We don't
rush. I mean, we'll all be rushing for that free Dark Tidings deck. It's just a free deck. Yeah, you don't really know.
But they want to make money. They're going to give you a way to give them more money. So I think we shouldn't be too concerned. There might be some tiers that have a limit, right? Like, Christian Peterson.
I would
expect your house and shake your hand, but like
the top tier is to have a limit. Like that makes it more valuable and more likely to be funded if it is a limit, right? Like it immediately becomes more sought after if there is a limit to the top tier.
I mean, I was just wondering how hard they were going to work for my money and what kind of names could I put in there.
Yeah. They're already getting lots of $150, so we haven't finished that though. Sheep, what are your names?
I mean, like really. Gonna be a Dr. Sheep.
For sure.
And then I think I'm the only one who'll actually pony up the money to try to get an X-Ray Sucks deck. But
we'll see.
Okay.
All right.
You say so.
I'll have my tag.
What about like my space dollars or something like that, Sheep?
Space dollars.
The hell do I care? I mean, people are already taking on my damn space dollars.
Then you can put "Don't take my space dollars."
I say that. I don't. I don't need my deck to say that.
Well, I for sure will have my gamer tag, Zarathustra. I will for sure have a big Z. I will probably have a deck that has SAS or something related to SAS. And if at least one other person on this show gets an X-Ray Sucks deck, I'll probably get an X-Ray Sucks deck.
Yeah, you gotta get the X-Ray Sucks.
Might all have to.
Like I said, I'm just gonna back it as many times as I can and just hand them out. And
then my wife's gonna back it for Daydream because it's not in the database right now, and that's her tag. And
that's surprising that Daydream is not in the database. I'm actually quite surprised at that one. That word is not in the database.
My son will get one with his tag, and that's probably it initially for those two. But that's like from my household right now.
Is he gonna get little?
Most likely 6 of them.
Is he gonna get little or Lil?
No, his user ID is Z Awesome, so it's ZAWE.
So he's gonna go user ID instead of
He might get if he wants to get a little Z too, like we'll see about that. I doubt my wife will want her name deck, like her actual name, but she might. It's not in the database either, so
I think we might have to all pitch in and get a Lil Z deck for his rap name.
Lil Z. But yeah, like just in this household, that's anywhere from 6 to 8 backings at this $150 level, and we have not even seen the next level. Like that will all happen. We're gonna have so many damn mats come that day. I will be able to decorate a second whole wall with mats.
Well, I know
game room.
Yeah, I know that we jumped out of the mats. Outside of the 2 that we talked about, there are others that are really cool too. So please don't understand.
There is one for all 7 houses. They represent cards in the houses. So
yeah,
and they're all new card art. They did not do the thing where they go back and use old cards.
I know there was a lot of love online and from Discord for Unfathomable. Obviously for Mars, I was there. I actually really like the Saurian piece. So I'm excited for all of them. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Now we did kind of have a mini conversation in the chat previously about because of like your personalized mat is going to match the card back for your deck. I know a lot of people were concerned, like, well, what if I don't like the color? Can I pick the color? Again, I mean, we really don't know much about that.
We don't, but I know our good friend Ketzer, he went ahead and this was something that was really bothering me. He's like, I don't want this one color. So since, obviously backing and Ghost Galaxy is listening and hearing us for pledges, I would love to be able to just have a color eliminated. If I don't want to see a yellow Archon, I really don't see that as how difficult can it be to exclude a color, because the mat itself is your Archon is going to take up, it's going to be primarily that color.
Yes.
So knowing that it's personalized already, I'm curious if they can go ahead and do it. Here, just put in this color. And it may be easier to say it has to auto lock on, like choose your color.
And like we did talk about this a little pre-show, and my bet is that the software that they're using to generate the art is using an algorithm that comprises everything from color to textures it uses to the shapes it uses, and is generating everything all at the same time and doesn't have any kind of flags. Like the software itself probably does not have anything at all that flags it to be a certain color, yes or no, in it as it is. And since they're already kind of behind, preparing certain software just to get this thing to happen again, I doubt that will be even within their capabilities to do. That said, I also hate yellow, Ketzer. But I'm going to have so many of these decks that I'm sure I'll get one this night.
I would be impressed if they spent resources to worry about color. Like, so many other things, way more important.
But you're going to have someone who's inputting the personalized name or the word that or words that you're putting in.
You're going to type it into a spreadsheet and it's just going to dump it in. You're right. They could do a color thing, but they've already done the naming thing, so they may have that work done.
Yeah,
we know that software exists because we've seen it with the stored leader decks, like the Gamma decks. the stores all had those names there, and freaking there was a Red Hog deck for the employee. Like, we know they have already coded in the ability in the software to do that.
Well, but the software's dead, so we don't know where they're starting from anymore. But yeah, it's definitely
That's actually true. We don't know what
like we don't really know, but it is definitely not a place I would want them to spend resources. But then again, I'm so art agnostic.
Hey, as long as we know that Christian Peterson
is right there with it.
As long as we know Christian Peterson is listening to us, I mean, that's why we say we want to be able to eliminate a color, or I'd like to choose one. That's great.
Well, if he really is listening, you will make a lot more money if we have any possible way to choose a house.
You don't even know what the next 2 tiers are. Settle down, settle down.
I know he hasn't announced them yet. Hence, if he's listening, he still has the chance.
Yep.
Z will sign his house over to you, Christian.
You'll be a
house for a house.
Z is sending little Z to him, like, he's no longer my son. He's now yours.
He is now yours. I give you my firstborn.
They will make enough money to fund their next game. Heck, I own my house. I can take out a mortgage. It's mine.
What's that? That's my keyforge mortgage.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
So I think one of the interesting things that they did mention down in their comments is because of their distribution agreement with our favorite company, there will not be a retailer pledge level.
Oh, whoa. I did not see that at all.
I did see that. There was lots of responses to that.
That's
and that
not great.
I talked to some other people too. Like, it's a big concern for me being more attached to the retailer side of this, that like they got an uphill fight because good old Asmodee and Fantasy Flight kind of ruined their reputation with a lot of retailers. I actually went to the local flag store that opened near me, and I was talking to them. I just mentioned Asmodee, and they're like, "Yeah, they don't even want to carry Asmodee games because they're such a tough company to deal with as far as being a retailer."
They are.
And more relevant to us as a player group, Keyforge was treated very poorly on the retail side because they were left with tons of product with no information, even on the retailers. Like, they got just as much information as we got, which was zero. And they were left with all of this product, some of which never sold well in the first place. Like, the starter kits priced at what they were never great sellers. And whatever that deluxe deck thing is, I don't know anyone that's ever even bought one of those.
Yes, you do.
So, Wookie bought one.
You know someone who bought one.
And then Wookie was unhappy with his purchase.
I mean, I was.
Like, we talked about it on this show, and we're like, why would anyone buy this? Like,
X-Ray and I bought 337 of those for $1. For at that time, $2 a piece.
For $2, yeah.
And then we actually had the guy selling us shuck everything except the decks, throw them in a box and ship them.
Exactly, I remember that. Like, and they were retailed at wasn't it $15 or something?
Yeah,
it was more than 10. I was like, and you're still just getting a deck.
And tokens.
And some tokens.
Yeah. So it's just
some of us needed tokens to play in a Vault Tour.
Yeah, some of us didn't get the tokens they needed to play in the Vault Tour.
Yeah, that's also true. I had to buy one at Indy because I forgot my tokens at home.
I will say, on the Game Found comment section, there was a comment that popped up in regards to, I hope that there's a tier that is less than 150. And seeing that there should be two tiers underneath, I feel very confident. And I do want to point that out because while I feel comfortable with 150, I know not everyone's in that same spot. And so I am very confident without being able to see that there will be something under $150.
Well, I think they did a really good job with the 150 in general, because even if for the people that are less comfortable normally spending a 150, if you save up some, maybe sell some of the keyforge you have currently, that is normally an attainable range. for what you're getting, because you're getting like an actual real deal. It's not like I'm spending 150 for this, niche thing that's happening this one time. You're getting way more value than you're paying in this case.
I found that response.
Really cool.
So unfortunately, as part of the purchasing the game from Asmodee, we are unable to offer. I don't understand what's in that package that they're unable to offer a retailer response. I would like to know that information, but
because everybody, Asmodee is getting producers to sign exclusive distribution rights with them. Which the interesting thing, and I don't know how it's going to happen here, but like the Asmodee is not easy to deal with in distribution often, and then they put a lot of strict controls over online pricing, advertising, and sales of stuff that they sell. I don't know how that's going to
affect this,
go with stuff that they are just the distributor of, but they just picked up a bunch more board game companies.
Well, it says, with that said, we are making some promotions for retailers separately. But then below that, because I'm scrolling through the notes, but go ahead, Dan.
It's going to be interesting to see what they try to offer retailers. And then I think their biggest fight they actually have is getting that information in front of the retailer. Because what do they have to contact a retailer and get them interested?
Well, that's the thing. That's where we talk about a lot. Like, a lot of this is within the imagination of GG themselves. Like, they can give stuff to retailers as long as it's not something that is a purchased product, right? So they could make promotional items that people would want, like the Dusk Runner, the mini, like anything in that vein. Though some of those, like the pricing was getting better and better and better right before the collapse. Like, if that stuff is able to send out to the retailers, people will show up, pay for the events again in the stores.
If you buy a case of Winds of Exchange, we'll send you a few Blorb plushies.
Well, did anybody read the comment below it?
Go ahead.
So it's from Nathaniel, whatever. 2 questions. Are people outside the U.S. eligible for the rewards? And then what happens if the campaign won't succeed? Christian Peterson responds. He says, yes. He says, if the campaign fails, we re-examine whether Keyforge is a valid product. It's kind of a sad day.
That was kind of what they said in the initial blurb about it, when we talked about them being transparent about why they're doing it.
But even right now, from last week to this week, we're at 7,334 followers.
That's already 400. What I saw earlier this week when I did some quick math, like I was sitting on the couch.
What day did we record Jurassic Core?
We recorded on,
and it was that Monday or
Monday? I think Monday.
Sounds right, and that was at 64:63 on Monday.
So like right now,
we recorded.
There's gonna be a higher pledge. So counting the higher pledge and lower pledge, even if you we're at each person in the following was only doing 150, that's $1.1 million already. So I don't know what they're going to use to consider this success or not, but I imagine it's going to be at the bare minimum 1.1 million immediately. Most likely much higher.
Is that assuming everyone that's following pledges the 150?
That's just the 150, not counting the higher tiers.
Okay.
I don't think everyone's going to pledge the 150, and I don't think that everyone
I don't know if the conversion rate is going to be 100%.
Yeah.
I think there are plenty of people who clicked favorite who are like, oh yeah, I played that in Coda. I got a few decks a few years ago. Like, hey, if this is a cool thing, like I'll buy a deck off this thing.
Right.
And then you got people like us who are like, how many hundreds and fifties do I have?
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to be over 1.1 million pretty quick.
I'm going to see.
I think it's going to be significantly over $1.1 million within like the first week.
I think that it will be over 1.5, but I don't think that everyone is going to pledge. I think it is a combination of both.
Well, that's why I was doing it's going to wash out. The higher pledge is going to have like my household's probably going to have more than one higher pledge.
Yeah, I can see if the higher pledge, yes, the higher pledge will go ahead and even out, but typically you have more lower pledges than you're going to have higher pledges. Sure. I do think that the main point here, we have to continue to tell everyone, frankly, if you're going to buy a box of Winds of Exchange, you want to be able to invest here. Now, this hurts some of the local stores, and that's where it rubs me still a little bit wrong. But we're going to have to be the community that goes in, invests,
what are you saying?
Goes ahead and says, hey, we want this. Come go check out GameFound. Check out Ghost Galaxy. Check out keyforge and what Ghost Galaxy is doing with
Dad was Rico's.
So I think we as the community have to be the driving factors behind pushing
for this.
I think
that's what we're doing.
Sorry to everybody that just heard that. That's definitely going to come through on a recording, and I can't change that, so... My bad. My wife started playing something in the other room, and so then the thing started playing on the computer. So, a little bit of Dexter for you guys, if you're interested.
Oh,
yeah, my wife's watching Dexter. So all of a sudden, I just hear things coming through my headphones, going, "Where's that coming from?" And I'm like, "Who's watching something?" And then I put it over. And I'm like, "Oh, her show played. Oh, interesting." My bad. Continue.
At least it wasn't about like a little bird or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. Anyways, all right. So,
how is that bird doing, Wookie?
I don't want to talk about it. God. Anyways, big thing we are going to bring back Why I Suck at Keyforge. So for all of you out there, it has been a long time since we did a Why I Suck at Keyforge. We're going to bring the segment back, but I think I want to do it a little bit differently. And tell me what you guys think, okay? So, everyone has a smartphone, everyone has a tablet, everyone has something out there that they're able to record their voices on. I want your guys as listeners why I suck at Keyforge. You can send them in, in a multitude of places. You can send them in a Discord to any one of the 5 of us, or you can send them to our Gmail, archonscorner@gmail.com, and we will play them on the show. What do you guys think?
Should be fun.
That sounds
cool. It'd be great. Yeah. Love the community involvement.
Yep. So we'll get you guys and, less work for you. For me, there's still work. But send in your Why I Suck at Keyforges. Even better. Why I Suck at Keyforges. Anybody have a Why I Suck at Keyforge?
I did mostly winning recently outside of the really crappy, not fun to play deck I brought for reversal was not as crappy and unfun to play as the deck Z brought to reversal.
That's it. That was a super easy game.
And like that reversal deck I had was, I don't know, I think it lost to you twice, and I think it lost one other game on like crazy luck, right? Like they just, like it really doesn't matter when they play, 11 of the same house in the first 2 turns, you go, this is just going to be a rough game. Doesn't really matter how bad the decks are. But it is a bad mass mutation deck. But what you brought just makes my deck not fire at all.
What? My angry mob?
Can't stop it. Yeah.
You couldn't find a win condition with all my angry mobs? Come on. That's a pro
because
card.
I put them all out and then you killed them all.
Because they don't do anything.
But you killed them, so I never even got to... Oh, it was sad.
Yeah, there wasn't much, and all you have to do with that deck, because I'd faced UZ too, as your buddy was watching, I'm like, oh, great. Buddy who, he's coming to us from Kansas City. Hopefully I can at least redeem myself that I'm not a horrible player. There was no out. That I gave you a much better deck, and I'm like, yeah,
that's true. The deck you gave me was way better than mine and Sheep's.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's like there's no way I'm losing this one.
Yeah, that's what Custodian Wookwalk had, and we're like, and it just is what it was. I'm like, here you go. I will take the loss, and I played out, but you actually, had Amber control that was given to you. I didn't have any.
No, I handed y'all decks that had 0.5. You had 1 card. Two cards, whole deck. Both of them were slow.
Even Amber control was the promise that I couldn't make any Amber.
Yep.
It just didn't matter. Like the deck really did not do much of anything in the situation. And maybe that's because I kept trying to use the angry mobs and putting them out, and it just discarded me into garbage land. It shouldn't matter, right? If you flip the whole deck and then you reshuffle it, like once, my whole thought was like, get the angry mobs out and then I don't have to draw them again. That's my theory. I don't
even know who actually owns that deck. Huh.
I hope the garbage can. I think
I don't even remember
Nova
the
opened your decks.
Okay, so
his name is Oscar the Grouch. Now,
like Nova, can you send me this deck? It's actually really bad.
Yeah, it is pretty bad.
All right.
Otherwise, I play Sealed AOA, and I play it in Archon. I play it in Sealed, and I have won more games than I've lost recently. But I've been opening decks with Mimicry, so I just play your good card.
That helps.
Mimicry is still great.
Yep.
So I have not been sucking, but Drazkor, or more likely known as Choke Show.
Choke Show.
If anybody wants to make a little jingle for the Choke Show.
I lost the game. It
was a very important game.
I watched this game, and we're the team that doesn't actually care.
Oh. So it was interesting because we each
were you the rubber game?
Yeah. So it was adaptive, and it was myself playing against Nova. And adaptive, I purposely brought a different deck because, we had played a match prior, and she had, seen that deck and played around with it. So I was like, I'm gonna bring a different deck. I'm gonna change it up. So I brought a different deck. We're looking at each other's decks, and we each took each other's deck. And I was like, that's interesting.
So there was no bid. Y'all just played.
no bid.
You played reversal.
Yeah, part of the reason I took her deck is because the deck I brought was a double piece of cord, which is like a weird thing to have, but like when I've brought it against folks with low C, like I can really use that to my advantage. It's got like good board situation. But bringing it against folks with high C, it's far less effective. So that was the thought, right? And she'd reasonably good C. So I was like, well, I'll bid on her deck. I'm not going to throw a ton of chains at it, but we each took each other's, and it was extremely close. I lost with
very close.
Yeah, 2 keys, 6 ember. I just couldn't. I had to capture onto my Bone Nithing after playing to steal and then playing a card with some capture, which meant I couldn't use my safe house to archive them. And so then I had a little bit of capture in Saurian, but she just made too much ember on that final turn, and that was GG.
And now we have to play again.
So, sorry?
You guys. You could have just conceded. Could have just let us have it.
I was partially shocked the game was even happening. I thought Nova was just going to concede.
I did suggest to Drazkor that he should just at an inconvenient time, and when he didn't show up, be like, "Oh, that's a concession."
That's a 90% chance that would have worked.
Yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, these are all bad for me. I was like, well, how about before recording? And, we tried to do it on, Tuesday? That didn't work. But yeah, it was a good game. It was close.
All right.
We each had a real good mark of dis against each other. So, with each of our 1 marks of dis.
Is a real good mark of dis against each other, and you both have one real good one? Did a mark of dis even happen?
That is a good question.
Anyways, they were dismissed.
They were just dismissed. All right, it's time for spoilers. Z, the obligatory spoiler warning.
Thank you all for joining our show. Hope you enjoyed the chat. Now we're going to talk about 2 very brief spoilers. So if you do not want to hear them, join us next week. Peace. Have fun forward.
You're in the corner!
People like this are a menace to decent society.
Are you ready for something new and hot?
You're in the
corner!
Thanks for listening.
All right.
First spoiler we have is Phalanx Leader. 4 power Saurian creature, dinosaur soldier play. Make a token creature immediately to play Phalanx Leader. Fight Reap. Each creature to Phalanx Leader's right gets +2 power. Do we find out what that is there? Until end of turn?
For the remainder.
For the remainder of the turn. Sorry. For the remainder of the turn.
All right. So people were talking about this card and about the Fight Reap effect. I think the Fight Reap effect is actually fairly negligible, not very important. It's not going to affect a lot in the game as far as the way keyforge is played, because the creature is it's like a 1-turn Anga. Is that what it's called? Yeah, so that's all it does. That's not that big of a deal. What I think is valuable about it, why I do like the card, is the play effect. When you make a token, anything that is making a token that can't be contested and doesn't have to be set up in any kind of way is adding value to the core mechanic of what we know the set is trying to do with the stuff we've seen already. I would have really loved this card to have been printed at common. We're seeing it at uncommon. So I'm happy that it is making tokens at the uncommon level. Would have much more preferred it to be at common, because the more things that can create tokens, the more value we can get to swing higher as far as like a power threshold for the whole token mechanic that we're trying to go with in set 6. Overall, this has the potential to be an above average to good card in the set, depending on how the token stuff comes to fruition. Ignoring everything else about the card. It's just making a token from your hand, puts a body on the board.
Now, we only know so far one of the Saurian tokens, right? We know Politician, which is action keys cost +1 during your opponent's next turn. If I have Politician...
not great. It's not a great token. That's the only one we've seen.
Yeah.
But remember, like, people keep tying the token creators that they're seeing to the token in the deck that they see.
That's fair.
The token you're generating doesn't have to be the house that you're in.
Could be Blorb.
It's only a 33% chance that is actually the reality of it.
Yeah.
So this creature could be making a scout. This creature could be making a merchant. This creature could be making a blorb. That is what people need to start shifting their realization to what is important about just making tokens, because the set's ability to punch as high as MM did is going to rest on whether the core mechanic can actually generate wins. We know it did in MM because enhancements are really damn good. So we need the idea of filling the creature with tokens to be really, really good, which means you actually have to be able to generate a lot of tokens. And then the tokens you're generating will determine whether you can actually win with them or not. We already have perceived Scout to be the best freaking thing we've seen token-wise, and we've seen very few tokens in any other house other than the merchants. But if every house gets anything close to as comparable as far as what their core mechanic looks like as Scout, this could be very, very real threat to some of the meta stuff right now. Because we already know it's important to have C, but almost none of the current high-end archetype decks are able to clear the board every other round. That's not a thing. So
make those multiple Fangtooth decks go way up in value.
Well, not if it's Scout. Not if there's destroyed your opponent loses an Amber. That's the thing. If we all those destroyed effect creatures, there used to be a goblin in Brobnar that you lost Amber when you lost 2 Amber when you killed it. If Brobnar gets a token that you lose even 1 Amber when it's destroyed, that's a hell of a good token. So that's what I'm more interested to see as these develop, as we see more tokens for all of them. Because if every single house gets anything close to as strong as Scout on at least one of their tokens, we're going to start to see some really interesting stuff happen. As long as we keep getting cards like this that generate a token from hand that cannot be answered or stopped in any way. The token is coming. And that's what this is. Super excited.
Any more on Phalanx Leader?
I know I talked all about that. Y'all can have the next one.
All right. Do we know the full wording on the next one?
We have a good idea what it does.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and read it off to us?
This one's actually in our notes. It is Grunt, and it starts with a V, the second word. We don't know the second word.
Could be a W.
That's true.
Thinks it's grunt work, which from a cleverness perspective,
the picture looks like that too because it's just people moving boxes, right?
Yep.
Grunt work.
It's what I'm about to do now that I bought a house.
All right, so I'll read what we think it is, and then y'all can talk up the rest of it. It's an action. It has a pip. We believe, because half of it's cut off, it's look at the top certain number, I'm guessing 3 cards of your deck, put them back in any order, make a token creature, which we already know, it's already been defined for us. Make a token creature means take the top card of your deck, which you just looked through to put that card there, and place it in the field as a token creature. So you get an amber, you rearrange probably the top 3 cards of your deck. The number is the only thing we don't really know, and then you make a token creature.
So this is in some ways a better version of what several Star Alliance cards do, where it's look at some, pitch one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you turn it into a creature instead.
And this is Star Alliance card that wasn't said earlier, so it fits with the house.
So yeah.
Well, it's very similar to Lay of the Land, right?
Yeah.
Which
Correct.
is
That's what we're talking about.
Draw a card, right? So interesting question. That is a good card. I like that card.
I was thinking more like Biome Discovery, right? That's looking to discard one.
Sure.
And then they have a bunch of cards that do that kind of effect. So yes, and this had the Amber Pip on it, right?
Yes, this has an Amber Pip.
Yeah, so
I think this card is potentially better than both of the ones you just named. Like Lay of the Land is an amazing card, but there's always a chance that those top 3 cards aren't Star Alliance, and it's coming to your hand. Biome Discovery literally just discards a card. I think there's another one, Survey. It just discards a card, right?
Yep.
This, you're looking at the top 3, rearranging the bottom 2 matters very little as far as how.
Well, we don't know how many, right? You're guessing 3.
Oh yeah. That is a pure guess, but
2 or 3
probably. There's a lot of precedent for 3. Navigator Ali, Lay of the Land, y'all mentioned. So I'm Vandalize is also 3. Like I'm gonna guess it's 3.
Like if it let you look more, like 5 or 6, how strong that would make your deck.
I was gonna say,
if it's any more than
I'm playing next.
If it is any more than 3. That actually starts to be way more relevant because looking at 3 almost never mattered. If it is more than 3, that's an amazing card. But even if it's just 3, I'm saying it's potentially better than Scat, like the other ones we just talked about, because it's not like you're choosing a random card to come in that you're not going to know what it's going to do. It's not like you're choosing to have to discard one card at random. You are, no matter what you choose, you are putting a card into play as whatever your token is. So if you've already chosen, you found the deck that has the token you want, it is that token, period, no matter what. And furthermore, you're going to have you get to look at all those cards. There's tons of cards in every deck because this is Keyforge that suck. So you have a chance to actually put one of the cards in there, and you're not drawing that card into your cycle the next turn.
Well, and it also leads you into a house that you can lean into it and make your deck thinner for the other.
So I'm saying, unless the entire mechanic of this set totally whiffs, and I don't think it's going to, this is potentially one of the best types of this card we have ever seen.
What if it actually is restricted and you only get to look at the top 2? I know there's a lot of precedent for 3, but
2 would make it still good, but much less.
That's slightly dangerous, where both your good Amber Control cards you're looking at and you go,
well, again, then it goes back. Yeah. Then it goes back to Survey, which in many cases can suck.
Even Igor is the same thing. Sometimes you draw 3 cards and you need them, and you go, oh,
yeah.
Well, but that also depends on. Again, we haven't talked about what all you can do with the tokens because we haven't seen the full set. I'm still expecting there to be cards that allow you to take the tokens. I mean, if this set has Unity or Discord, you could literally take the card back into your hand, right? If Unity or Discord's in here, there's a lot of crazy things Star Alliance can do immediately. If Transporter Platform's in here, there's some bunch of stuff. I can't even list the amount of stupid things you could do if Transporter Platform is in the set. There's a lot of things we don't know yet.
And for...
Yeah, I think...
Go ahead, Jez.
I was going to say, I think... So it's interesting to think about, what about this in Sealed, right? So in Archon, you're bringing the best tokens, you're bringing this combo stuff. So in Sealed, you're probably looking at this versus Lay of the Land as thinking about like, hey, in sealed Lay of the Land, which of these 3 cards are reasonably good and are going to help me now?
Like,
or here in sealed, you're looking at probably what's the worst of these cards.
Yeah,
and
like even in not sealed, like that's just what it does.
Yeah, but even in sealed, your token might not be very good, but hey, which of these would I rather be this junky token versus
and this also, if it is more than 2 cards, this also combos with your other cards in Star Alliance that make tokens. Like you're going to make the first token with this, then you're going to play another card that makes another token because you just manipulated what that's looking like.
And,
if you could take like 2, like you have 3 of a certain house in your deck, and you see that there's 2 of the house you're not calling next time, burying those to get to more of the house you're going into. Like this is an efficiency dream if this is at least 3 cards that you're looking at.
Yeah. And from a play style, I think a design standpoint, they did a very, very nice job at being able to create that. I'm excited for the tokens. I just want to see what rarity it comes in, because I would love to see this in a common slot. I really would.
I would love this as a common, but we just talked about that creature. This is probably an uncommon card. Pure guess.
Yep.
But like based on what we just talked about, like Lay of the Land is uncommon. This is just as good, if not significantly better. And
I just think of this card as like half of a Dusk Witch, sort of, but then has efficiency too. Because it's
bringing in
a potentially crappy creature, but comes with Amber, but efficiency as well. Like, and this kind of card just seems, it really doesn't matter how bad your token creature is,
because like going back to what you are just saying,
efficiency with Amber and creatures.
If this is printed at common, like this is going to create a bunch of scenarios where you have Star Alliance decks that just fly, and whatever. Like if you hit Star Alliance with a good token set, like you're already in the money to do something. It's great.
Especially if your token is off Star Alliance, right? Yep. So you play all your Star Alliance cards out, you put a bunch of whatever house, and then next turn you get to call it, and now you have creatures and cards.
For sure.
Right? That's, because that's something we always...
Because like right now, what I'm
in this game.
I know we talk about Scout, and that's like, but even if this is generating, I think there's a 3 power creature that's Mars.
Yeah.
Like just the rate value off of that creature is going to be amazing. Like if this is creating either the 3 power dude or a Scout or even the merchant from the merchant house, like this is already value on value on value. You're creating a board that they have to deal with constantly, literally every time you take a turn to generate tokens. It's going to be fun. It will be fun regardless of its power level, but I think it's starting to show more potential.
Now it's just going to be, except all those houses are pretty much gone. I say Mars is back. If there's a lot of repate in this set, that'll make it a little sad.
Yeah,
like a bunch of reap and stun.
But there's still not much. But that doesn't matter. There's still not much repate in other sets, right? So like, whether there's like that affects sealed, just sealed, as far as its ultimate value. There's so many sets now. Like that is the benefit of having so many sets. Like if there's one set that shuts your archetype down, it doesn't matter. That's only 1 out of 6. Well, 5 is Dark Titan. So had to.
All right. I think it's time to wrap it up. What do y'all say? Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, fantastic. So that's going to do it for us today, guys. Don't forget, send us your Why I Suck at Keyforge posts. You can send them to myself on Discord. Probably the best way to send them would probably be Gmail, would be my assumption. So archonscorner@gmail.com. We will pick one per week to put on the show. And don't forget, follow us over on YouTube. There's going to be more stuff hopefully coming on over there. I shouldn't say hopefully. It's going to come. It's just, when.
We can show up some stuff on the YouTube once we get into the top cut of our fire sale event.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So there will be stuff on YouTube. It's just make sure you follow us over there. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and doing all the fun things to make sure the YouTube algorithm, again, picks up on it. And then patreon.com/Archons Corner. You can follow us over there. We are doing some more content obviously there. Just depends on who's available at the time out of the 5 of us. And putting some stuff up over there. Spreadshirt.com also as well. You can get some t-shirts. Kansas City's coming up. So, you guys can get your Archons Corner t-shirts and represent the AC. I know I'll be in one. So, guys, it's been a pleasure. And we'll see y'all next week.
Be fortunate, everyone.
One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate, celebrate and dance so free. One more time, this got me feeling so free. We're gonna celebrate. One more time, this got me feeling